Hi everybody, this is Bastiaan, and today we're going to look to a quick game I played over the internet. So I was playing black. Opponent starts with e4, e5, developing symmetrically, and d4. So my opponent prefers an open game, but I play knight f6 instead. So pawn takes pawn and knight takes pawn. And now my opponent tries to kick the knight with pawn to f3. However, this already creates a weakness, because the diagonal of my queen is open, and with pawn to f3 he opens up another diagonal to his own king. So queen goes to h4 check, and my opponent tries to block it with g3. Attacking both pieces at the same time, but g3 is a mistake because my opponent missed knight takes, and now if pawn takes knight, white simply loses a rook, so he can't play that. So he plays bishop g5 instead. I'm hoping to neutralize the threat, but the continuation now could be queen takes bishop, pawn takes knight, and queen takes pawn with check. But after bishop g5 I'm feeling overly aggressive, and I'm a bit strengthened by the blunder of my opponent, so I'm smelling blood. So I'm going to play as aggressively as possible now. I play a check, queen b4 check. So opponent retreats the bishop, and here I play queen takes pawn on b2. So now his right rook is hanging and his left rook is hanging. Bishop c3, protected by the knight. Probably the best move. And I play bishop to b4, pinning his own bishop. Bishop takes, and here I have a choice between three pieces already, and among those three I choose to take the bishop because it's the only developed piece, and it also gives me a tempo with the check. So now knight moves to block the check, and I can take on the left rook. And now white starts developing rook to b1. Queen h4 check, yet another check. King a2. Queen f2 check. King goes to d3, flushing out the enemy king. And here I play queen takes knight, so white loses yet another piece. Queen e2, developing the queen into the defense, but knight goes to f2 check. King has to run even further, king to c4, and I win yet another pawn. Knight e4 and d5 check, and also creating a fork. Forcing the recapture of the pawn. So white recaptures with his own pawn, but the reason why I sacrificed the pawn is to be able to develop the bishop. So now the bishop develops to e6 with check. Plenty of checks in the game. King goes to d4, knight c6 check, king back to e3, Knight g4 check. Here I'm actually sacrificing a piece to keep the attack going. Pawn takes knight, queen takes queen, and bishop takes queen. And I castle long. Pawn takes pawn, and king retakes. Knight to c5. b6. Knight a6 check. King b7. And king f4. So the king is quite uncomfortable being in the open. Rook h8 to the open file. Knight c5 check. King a8. Knight d4. And bishop takes pawn on a2. Why not? Rook b2 and bishop d5. Bishop d3. Because now I have two pieces attacking the knight, and white needs to bring in another piece to the defense. But bishop takes, and we're approaching the end game. Rook d4, pinning the bishop. King goes to f3. Rook takes bishop, and white lost yet another piece. Rook to b5. Rook a8 to e5. c4. Rook takes pawn. Rook takes rook, and knight takes rook check. King goes to g3. Rook g4 check. King h3 and a5. And at this point my opponent resigns. So I think this game was the one I played with the most checks ever. So I hope you had a good time watching it. Please leave a comment. Have a great evening.